Next, I am taking three related concepts. One is what is called as budgeted costs. So these are the costs that are budgeted or put into the budget that was prepared by the organization. Uh, so anything which is outside the budget is generally, uh, you need to take some special approvals for that, or it won't be automatically spent. So managers don't have a right to spend non-budgeted items. So these are called as discretionary items. Sometimes suddenly something happens, and you may have to, spend some money to fix that, or to grab that opportunity. So these things do happen. So there is considerable discretion available at different levels. But this is, as the term says, it is not a part of your main budget. Now, usually the uh, items which are listed in the budget or the cost sheet are closely monitored, and they are controlled by looking at the this standard budget. Whether you are spending a little bit more on materials or a little bit more on time, or time and material is the same, but the rate you are paying is a little more. So all these things are line by line monitored very carefully by management. So therefore these are also what we call as controllable costs, because these things are which are responsibilities are given at different levels. It can be a purchase manager, it can be a supervisor, it can be a HR manager, or whoever. And they are asked to control these items. So these are different cost centers which are given these jobs of controlling these costs, and everything is a part of the big budget. So in a way, budgeted costs and controllable costs are same, and whatever is outside these is your discretionary amount or discretionary spending. Now these discretionary amounts are usually the first things to cut when there is a calamity or a crisis. If a company does not do well, then the first thing they will slash is travel, because that is considered that it is unnecessary activity. But nobody will slash any of the items mentioned in the cost sheet. Nobody will say that now you stop buying raw materials, or stop doing this process X or process Y. So that is one thing we need to keep in mind. So which may not always be the right thing, but generally that is what is done. So what we saw was the items that become a part of a budget are controllable. Managers still spend something outside what is written in the budget, but that is known as the discretionary spending or discretionary expenses. Now let me take a couple of minutes to talk about these items known as period costs, which is basically costs that happen because time is passing, because a day is over, because a month is over. So these are in a way fixed costs which have to be incurred irrespective of whether uh, how much was the output, or whether you did business or did not do business. For example, if you are a listed company, you need to file your returns for income tax and for the corporate governance and so many other places. So the cost of doing all this is a period cost. Every quarter you need to do this work. Similarly, there are certain things, for example, security of your premises. So that is a period cost, because periodically you will have to keep incurring that. So this is one item. Then there is another concept called as joint costs. So these are basically costs shared by different products, jointly shared. For example, you have a one main product and some byproducts. So they both share certain costs. Uh, uh, for example, in a refinery, almost everything is a joint cost, because you can't only make petrol or only make diesel or only make the tar, or you cannot only make the LPG. everything is a byproduct. It's a single refinery, single reactor, in which at different temperatures different things are coming out. So these are all sharing the joint costs. These items may still have their own individual costs. For example, LPG, I cannot put it into a normal container and send. I will have to compress it and liquefy it, and then I can sell it. So there is some cost, direct cost associated with LPG itself, which is not a part of your rest of the business, but major part, your refining itself is a joint cost. So this is the next thing. Now finally, there are so many ways in which one can look at how costs are occurring in an organization and how they need to be managed, and decisions to be taken based on those. So one of the things that is very useful is to have a well designed accounting software. So the most basic ones would be something like Tally, but people use things much more advanced than that. Some of the people here have worked on SAP and other such software. So what these do is they divide the whole organization into different cost objects. So cost objects are either people or machines or departments or activities where cost is happening. So an employee is being paid, that employee can be one cost object. Someone is going someone is shifting some materials from place A to place B. So there is a transportation activity happening. So that is another cost object. There is a large machine where some activities are, some processing of materials is taking place. So that machine will require electricity and materials and so many maintenance and all that. So that machine can be also a cost object, or sometimes we call it a cost center because machine is a slightly bigger unit. So usually a cost center comprises of many cost objects. Cost center is usually at the level of a department. This way the whole organization is divided into different objects, and then you collect data related to that object, and subsequently you may want to analyze it over a period, what is the trend, or compare same object in place A with the same object in place B. Are they sort of having similar behavior or different behavior? So all this subsequent analysis is possible once you have a good system of bookkeeping in place. So your first requirement is to define cost objects. Next is to move them to an automated system so that they are recorded properly and immutably and all that. And subsequently then you can do their analysis, aggregation or comparison or whatever else you want to do. So these are some of the terms that we have seen, and these help us in one way or the other to understand the nature of costs that are happening, and subsequently they help us in analyzing so that we take the right decision. We'll be discussing questions and doubts that you have on this in a brief while. Let everyone finish with these videos and then we will start.